All right, so Friday, we're getting together with the Putnam Business Association, discoverputnam.com, and happy to sponsor this segment to tell you about all the great things happening in Putnam. Sheila Frost is here today. She is business coordinator for the Putnam Business Association, doing a great job, and also the owner of the Courthouse Bar and Grill in the heart of downtown Putnam. Hi, Sheila.
Good morning.
Welcome to our show. It's a pleasure to have you here today on a Friday morning, and we'd like to highlight some of the members of the Putnam Business Association. Who'd you bring today?
Today I brought Kate Cerrone.
Attorney Kate Cerrone is here today.
Hello.
Good morning, Kate.
Good morning.
So good to have you here today. Kate is a great person. She's got a lot going on. First of all, she's here today from the Northeast Law Center. And she's also she's on the chair of the legal committee for the Putnam Business Association. She's on the membership committee for the Putnam Business Association. Oh, and in her spare time, she's chairperson of the Pomfret Board of Education. And there's just a lot. Are you involved in the Pomfret Library Project, too?
Actually, I am. Yes, I'm chairing that fundraising opportunity for the library.
We're chairing
Pomfret
that
as well. Yeah.
And while you're here, let me jump around. How's that coming along, by the way?
We are very close to goal. Last I heard, as far as pledges go, we're about 88% of goal. People in Pomfret have been so generous, and even people outside of Pomfret have been donating. It's just so exciting.
This is why, Sheila, we talk about it all the time, right? Supporting locally owned business. And here's a local attorney practicing law here in Putnam and Danielson. But then, they're touching so many other different organizations. The PBA, the Pomfret Board of Education, Pomfret Library. This is why I love supporting. We got to support each other. We got to love each other. It
takes a village.
It does. It sure does. So, Attorney Kate Cerrone, we're going to talk about the Northeast Law Center. Let's start with the basics. Where's the main office?
So the main office is at 155 Providence Street in Putnam. Right. I always say we're right near to Bill's Bread and Breakfast. Everybody knows where that is.
Yeah.
And then we have another location in the Jolly Hill Commons Shopping Center in Danielson. We can accommodate clients at either space.
Okay. What's the main telephone number for the Northeast Law Center?
It is 860-928-2429.
And your website address is
www.nectlaw.com.
Okay, sounds good. Who are the attorneys with whom you're practicing?
Yeah, we have 5 attorneys, names that you're probably very familiar with. We've got Tom Borner, Paul Smith, Allison Alleman, Frank Herzog, and myself. And the fact that we have 5 attorneys lets us offer a large range of legal services between the 5 of us. We also have a lot of connections to other professionals and attorneys in the area. I always tell people, if you have any legal problem, call us, because chances are we either handle it or we can set you up with a quality attorney who will be able to help you.
Absolutely. And you're right. All the names familiar to me, and people who are also touching other aspects of life here in northeastern Connecticut. You mentioned attorney Paul Smith, and boy, that guy, they were ready to go with the mass production concerts, and they got, I know, and I know they're trying to. I mean, they'll have the shows eventually, but yeah. So this is our village, and it's all good. So let's start with how is the COVID-19 and all the new protocols, how is that affecting your business, and what are you doing to prepare for that?
Well, Gary, I'm very proud of our firm, because over the past few years, we have been working on the technology that makes it available to have a remote practice for us. And we've just been doing that because we felt it made good business sense. But we were having a meeting yesterday. We called the whole firm together to talk about keeping our clients safe and keeping our employees safe. We talked about sanitizing our space should we need to speak with someone in person. We talked about handling clients' needs on the phone when necessary. Perhaps if someone's infirm, if one person goes to that home instead of bringing them into the firm. We talked about all of those. But we also have the technology to operate our firm completely remotely should we need to. So if we are in a pandemic situation here in Windham County, I really hope that doesn't get to that point. But there will be no interruption of service to our clients. We have an app where if you call into the firm, it will ring all the way to each one of our cell phones, from the receptionist, administration, all the way to the attorneys. So we will answer your call just as though you called into the firm. And we all can remote in. So I have access to all my documents. I can still provide full service at this point.
So you're ahead of the curve. There is a plan. There's always been a plan. And some of the stuff we're just kind of dusting off. Okay, we know what to do here. And then stepping up to things, like you said, for just sanitizing and all that stuff. stuff.
Exactly.
So,
That's
so
right.
you're ready
Yeah.
to go, which is just
Yeah,
wonderful.
I'm very proud of that.
You wanted to mention something called the Corporate Care Plan. Kate,
Yes,
what's that?
so that's something I wanted to mention, and I just wanted to say our general areas of law that we do, day to day. We do personal injury, we handle real estate closings of any kind, business law, litigation. We do estate and trust planning, Title 19 planning, and probate. So that we're doing that on a day-to-day basis. So I head up our business law section, and I started our corporate care plan, and we have some clients on that, and they're very, very happy with it. I found that I was setting up corporations for people. We were doing our entity choice, whether it was an LLC or corporation, and then we all, they would go about the business of running their business, getting busy with that, and then they really wouldn't call me again until there was a problem, because that's the way it is with legal services. You're watching your bottom line. You don't want to pay hourly rates very often, which makes a lot of sense. So I devised almost like a concierge program where you can pay me one set fee, and for that one set fee, you basically get access to me for a full calendar year that you've paid for. So if you have a phone call that you need to make, if you have a problem brewing, you pick up that phone, you call me, I spend as much time necessary to work through that problem with you at no extra cost. And what I find is that I can get to know the business better because I've been keeping in touch. I know how many employees you have. I get an inkling of a problem that may be occurring, and you know what? We head it off instead of having it blow up into a problem where an attorney then needs to spend hours and hours and bill you for that. Yeah. So I find it's just a nice relationship to have. A lot of businesses have in-house counsel, but a lot of small businesses can't afford that. But they are very comfortable in our corporate care plan, which has been working out very well. And then I find when those particular corporations that I've brought into my corporate care plan, if they need more work, if they need employment contracts drawn up, or they need a closing handled, I will do that at a lower hourly rate for them because I appreciate the fact that they're in my corporate care plan. So we have clients that are very happy with that.
Yeah, and that's a great idea, the corporate care plan. And the way you spelled it out, that's exactly what happens. We got to sit down and draw up the corporation papers, the LLC papers. Everything's done, filed, we're official. Okay, bye. And then we're not going to call you again until there's trouble and there's a problem.
Yeah. I always say, imagine what's happening behind the doors of a business when they say, call the lawyer, and then we get called in and it's like, oh, why didn't you tell me? Because, now there's probably more of a problem than there would have been.
Yeah.
So I enjoy having the relationship with the particular business too. So I get to know people better that way.
And then I'm sure you pass things on to them. If you hear something that could be affecting their category of business, hey, here's a little heads up for you. You may want to be aware of this, right? Things like that you
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that is part of our plan. We alert them to changes in the law. They'll get a letter from me, and that's exactly part of our plan as well. Yeah. And just a routine review of their documents. Sometimes they'll send it over and say, hey, these are the non-disclosure documents I've been using. Can you just look it over quickly? I say, sure. Yep, they all look good, and that's all included in the plan as well.
Okay. What are some of the for businesses, small businesses? What are some of the surprises that do come up that businesses have to keep up with legally, but may be overlooked because they're just in there trying to just handle business and get the day-to-day grind?
Well, it can be as simple as keeping on top of your annual reports.
Yeah.
The Secretary of State expects you to do an annual report every year. That can kind of get off the radar screen, and then you realize, wow, it's been 4 years. I need to catch this up. I need to work with the Secretary of State and get that caught up. Probably the scariest things would be if the IRS is giving you a call and you need to get something together for an audit. We will work with your CPA and get that handled for you. And the Department of Labor can be very aggressive when they get wind of a possible problem. If a disgruntled employee calls, about hours or overtime pay, we will be right there alongside of you and help you out with those situations.
And keeping up with all the mandatory training now and sexual harassment and all that stuff. There's a lot to think about with small business and stuff that you might just not get to because you're busy running your business. So this is great. The corporate care plan. Ask about it at Northeast Law Center. Should everyone have an attorney?
Yes,
yeah.
They should.
Yeah.
I do estate plans for everyone. Yeah. Everyone should have a very solid estate plan, whether that's a simple will all the way to trust planning. So every single person really needs that type of review. And then if a situation's happening at work, or if you have a conflict with a neighbor, sometimes it's good to just to check in with an attorney that you know and trust.
It blows my mind, Kate, how many people that I talk to and people I know who don't have wills, people who have assets and they don't have a will. And it's like, well, they're creeped out. They're just creeped out about putting it all on paper. They think they're going to jinx themselves, and they'll die next week.
Yeah,
but,
that's real. That is real.
It's a thing. It's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
But man, you got to have a will, and then you have to review it from time to time, and particularly if you have heirs and you're passing things on, and there's new members of the family. You got a new grandkid or something, right? You
Absolutely. I always tell people, think of it as an insurance policy. You have an insurance policy on your house. That doesn't mean that anything's going to happen to your house.
Yeah.
So your will is your security for your assets after you pass.
Yeah.
You write down what you would like to happen. You put it in an envelope. You put it away, and then it's peace of mind.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that. We got everything is laid out, everything, including like if Karen and I go down in a plane crash, there's a plan for everything, the business, everything.
Yes.
There's a plan, and people waiting to take care of that.
Well, it's a kind thing to do to for your family.
Absolutely.
To have it all thought out so that they don't have to go through that agony and deal with your passing. And for business owners, it is very important to have a plan for a succession plan. There's nothing that really bothers me more than to see someone who's put their blood, sweat, and tears into a business, and then they pass, and it ends, and it's lost, or they retire, and the whole business comes to a halt because they haven't thought about who could take it over,
right? What's going to happen
and how to keep it running, and we do that sort of planning as well.
And a basic, simple will. What are we talking here for? What's it cost?
Well, I charge $1,000 to do a simple plan, and what that means is I want to see you have a power of attorney. I want a living will that will determine whether you need to be on extraordinary measures at end of life, as well as who your healthcare proxy will be, and an advanced designation of conservator. And I go over with my clients what all of that means.
It's very thorough.
It's very thorough. And then your will is your asset protection. So I like to see all of that in place, and I put all of that in place for $1,000. And then if there's advanced tax planning, we charge a little bit more for
How
tax.
often should you review a will?
Well, the rule used to be about every 15 years, and I think if people stick to that rule of thumb, they'll be in pretty good shape. When we write a will at our firm, we put in so many contingencies that in the case that you forget to have it reviewed, it will still protect you.
Okay.
So we're always thinking of every possible contingency. But if you acquire a business, if you acquire a new asset, if there's something that you want to give in a specific distribution to someone and you haven't included it, it's time to review. Sure. If you want to provide for grandchildren, if there's a change in your business plan, any kind of change like that, it's a good idea to have an attorney review it for you.
Again, that's just one part of the law that you practice. There's a lot going on there. Personal injury you mentioned too. When should you call an attorney if you're involved in some kind of an injury? Should that happen right away?
Well, an ordinary type of fender bender. If you're comfortable with your insurance coverage, it's a good idea to check in with your insurance broker, make sure that everything's going to be covered. And we work closely with insurance companies in the area as well. We have really high quality, and very often that is all that you need. But if you feel that you are going to be out of pocket in a way that you feel should be covered differently, give us a call. Yeah. And certainly if you have some significant injuries, it's always a good idea to call an attorney because you may have a more complex case than what your insurance can cover.
What a great segment. I'm so glad you came here today. Attorney Kate Cerrone, again from Northeast Law Center. Their main office is at 155 Providence Street in Putnam, right near Bill's Bread and Breakfast. The number is 860-928-2429. They also have an office, Jolly Commons, Route 12 in Danielson. NECTlaw.com. Attorney Kate Cerrone, our guest today. Thanks, Kate.
Thanks for having me.
Great segment.